Oh, this should be cool. I gotta give it a shot, right? What in the hell happened here? Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh Weekly. As always, I am Robo. I don't know why I do this a lot. And you may notice this is actually the first weekly of 2019. I skipped last week. I was on family vacation down in New Orleans. And let me tell you, some video game companies just go to extremes to promote their video game. It is unreal how much they've made New Orleans look like Saint Denis from Red Dead Redemption 2. I know. But fortunately, or well, unfortunately, depending on your point of view when it comes to toys, there wasn't a lot of action figure talk for last week. Roll around to this week, and fortunately, or unfortunately, depending on your view of toys, there is a lot more to talk about. So a little bit of old, some new, some I just found out as I was sitting to record this. First of all, most of you know Robo don't know Mortal Kombat. I'm from back in the days when you settled disputes in a dimly lit room with a dude running around with quarters on his belt. And even back then, I would look at Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter and Killer Instinct and Primal Rage and Tekken and Game. I'd try them. I'd put my quarter down and stand there in fear because I wasn't going to last long. So I wasn't ever really into fighting games. But I like the characters. I like the interesting storylines. I just kind of watched over other dudes' shoulders. Hey, you doing good? So Storm Collectibles soliciting Baraka. It's very cool. It's a different body for the line. He's got the blades, he's got the skin. He's not a ninja. I think a lot of people are going, another non-ninja character. He has an alternate head sculpt, he has a couple of extra hands, he's got interchanging blades, and then he has some blood effects. The one around the neck, I think, is the same one as the one around the arm in the other picture, but I dig the two big blood things. This will run you about $70, and it's supposed to come out Q2 of 2019. The Diamond Select, Marvel Select, Avengers Infinity War Captain America has popped up with a loose picture, and I don't know much about it. I haven't been keeping track of this. He looks a little lower half heavy, but I still kind of like the look of this more than the Marvel Legends version. But I don't do a lot of 7-inch, especially when it comes to Marvels. I don't know. It looks pretty good. McFarlane Toys has shared more promotional shots of their Game of Thrones Wave 1. Now these are 6-inch, they're looking great. It's McFarlane, we expected nice sculpt, nice paint. Articulation, man, Fortnite has spoiled me. So looking at these, we'll talk about that here in a second. But first up, let's look at, we just saw promotional shots of Arya Stark a couple of weeks ago. So this turnaround, her face still looks kind of, I don't know, is it wide? Is it flat? There's something off there. But she does come with Needle and the Valyrian steel dagger. Daenerys' likeness is much closer. And even if it wasn't, the way they painted the eyes here, I don't know, there's just something about it. It's kind of, it's so nice. How's it going? Hopefully this translates well to the final product that all this carries over. You know, prototypes, most of the time they do look a lot better than the factory outputs. But she does come with map markers. Would have been kind of cool to get, well, I don't know. The season they're doing now, they couldn't have really included a dragon with Daenerys. The Night King, this is right up McFarlane's alley. It's kind of a monster look. We look at it and it's not something we look in the mirror at every day, you know? It's got the off skin tone, it has the weird thing, and the off look. So we look at it and it's easier to translate into plastic. It's easier to look at it and go, holy shit, they nailed that thing. Yeah, I can honestly say this looks really, really great. Not that the others looked super terrible, but you know what I'm trying to say here. Night King comes with a blade and a spear. And then there is Jon Snow. Oh man, I think this is the one I'm looking forward to the most because it's Jon Snow. No, really, over the, how many seasons has this show been going on? I just watched the final season over the holiday. I don't know. But through all that, Jon Snow was the one I could get behind, that I could relate to. Not, okay, he's way more heroic than I probably would be in some of those situations, but it's something that I personally can aspire to, that I get behind Jon Snow. So plastic representations of that character? Yeah, I have to pick them up. The likeness is here, maybe because you can't see the eyes really well, but I feel like the body is a little bit, I don't know, is it a little bit, what? I don't know, I'm just nitpicking at this point. I'm looking at it and going, I'm trying to talk myself out of buying the line, really. It's, oh, that may look a little bit off, maybe I'll skip it, probably won't. But John comes with Longclaw and then a Dragon Glass Dagger. Now, what it all boils down to is the articulation schemes here. On a couple of the figures, especially Daenerys, you can see hinge and swivel at the shoulder. You can definitely see hinge and swivel at the elbows on all of them. I don't know what's going on at the shoulder with John. Arya, I feel like her tunic sticking out like that, you're only going to get so much motion up and around. It's not going to bend and get out of the way. Besides that, we've seen close-ups. It doesn't look like there's cuts at the neck. If there is, it's down. It's a swivel down at the bottom. And then going by these shots, I think there are hinges at the ankle, maybe swivel. But the garb of Westeros and surrounding territories doesn't really lend itself to super articulation when the clothes are in plastic form. The descriptions say 12 plus points of articulation. Yeah, depending on how companies count them, sometimes they fake it a little bit. But with the robes hanging down, the torsos being what they are, even if there's articulation at the hips, I don't think there's going to be a lot of movement because of the clothing. And I'm an articulation junkie, you guys know that, but I don't know, I feel like these are going to look so good that I may not be able to pass them up. And then being 6-inch scale, maybe they'll fit in nicely with the Funko stuff. You know, the Funko stuff that had great articulation, but you're afraid to move it because shit snaps off of it. So my big hope here is Wave 1 does well, and then we can get a proper Khal Drogo, because Funko did him wrong. These will run about $22, should hit somewhere in April. Here are some pictures of a factory sample of the Kyoto Revoltech Amazing Yamaguchi Marvel X-Men Gambit. I just want to see how many words I could string together right there. I dig it all in blue. I'm a prototype kind of guy. I like seeing stuff like this. It just looks fantastic. The paint, how can I word this without sounding like an asshole? The paint isn't drawing your eye away from what is actually underneath it. Does that make any sense? Looking at it, man, the accessories are worth the price of admission alone here. It's just great stuff to add to a Gambit figure. And that's not taken away from the figure. It looks dynamic as all hell. Okay, the shoulders do look a little shoulder patty, not like they're separate pieces on top of it. So it being part of the trench coat, it looks odd. It sticks away from it. And then of course there's the two hanging down parts for the trench coat that's going to be all sticky outy and stuff, but it is no Batman cape, it is no Magneto cape, and I'm good with that. I'm happy. Okay, give me this. Now remember, this is $60, comes out in March, so right around the corner. And I actually wrote down, now solicit Iron Man. I wrote this before last night happened, and last night they solicited Iron Man. Oh, just like I said before, you're gonna have to get in line behind me. As soon as I saw promotional pictures popping up last night, I was a click, Hobby Link Japan, Hobby Link Japan, Hobby Link, refresh, and finally they put it up, and now you're in line behind me. Go get it. Go get it. Because I really think, while this is a great addition to the Amazing Yamaguchi line, the overall look of the armor, the overall feel of the figure, it's going to fit into your other Marvel displays. I feel it in my heart of hearts. And the weird thing about it, I couldn't tell you if I've ever read a story with Stark in the bleeding edge armor. But, man, such a good looking armor, such a great looking figure. You're going to get the movement you want, you're going to get the 3-point stance, you're going to be punching the ground, you're going to be flying, but most of all, man, the accessories. Oh, so many accessories, so many options here. It's got the, and it's got the, and it's got the, and it's got the, and with all that, it looks like he can do a rocket punch, and he can do a rocket kick, and he can do a rocket body. He can just rocket himself. He's got rockets shooting off. Whatever you're going to want to do with this figure, you should be able to do with this figure. Now, don't get me wrong, it is Revoltech. I know there will be some frustration involved in doing this. And with all this stuff, it's really reminding me of Carnage, where it's like, you're digging through a hole. What am I going to do? I don't even want to because there's too much shit. It'll be okay. It'll end up being fantastic. Hopefully, we'll see when it does come out, which will be in May for $60. Okay, Super 7, this may have been last week when they announced the Masters of the Universe Club Grayskull Wave 4. Then a couple of days later, they actually showed the accessories. Then this morning, they have some shipping updates. So, let's start up at the beginning. The Club Grayskull line is essentially Filmation looks. Some people don't like that. I'm a huge fan. That's my childhood. I used to sit in front of the TV and wait for He-Man to punch the screen and I'd go flying back. And that's what this reminds me of. So I need more Filmation stuff in my life. First up is Katrina. She comes with Claw Baton, the Claw Paw Whip, and Claw Flame Sword. And in the accessory picture, you can just see the two. In the overall picture of Katrina, you can see it down on her ankle, the third accessory. Modulok, not looking very modular, but looking very Filmation. He comes with a baby bottle. He comes with the nipple to screw on the top. No, I'm kidding. They actually call it Electrode, Sledgehammer, and then he comes with a couple of alternate hands. Prince Adam, it looks essentially like we got with the San Diego exclusive, the Laughing Adam. Comes with the Sword of Power. He comes with Sword of Power in transformation mode, which is, it's kind of brilliant, kind of genius. I like this. But Super 7, if you're listening, or if you know somebody at Super 7, tell them to fix the wrist, where he can actually hold aloft his sword in the proper manner. It lists a Photanium shield, and then it doesn't list it, but in the picture we also get an alternate Atom head. And then here it comes. You know what's coming. Domo Arigato. You've never heard that with Roboto before, have you? I'm such a pioneer. It can't be helped. But Roboto comes with alternate hands, which is a claw, an axe, and a blaster. Shadow Weaver, if you missed out on the Classics version or you were waiting for a Filmation version, here you go. There's Shadow Weaver. She comes with Wizard's Wand, Wand of Crystal, and Magical Blast. And then finally, probably my favorite, for whatever reason, Stratos. He's not the most exciting, but he's the most original. He's the most, in my head. Stratos. But he comes with alternate jetpacks. He's got the Staff of Avian and the Sword of Nael. Now these are available for pre-order right now on Super 7's site. The price is a little bit high for the set, and you do have to buy a set before you can pick individuals. You can't just pick individuals right off the bat. They do have payment options now, it being right after Christmas. Yeah, it's kind of appreciated there. But Super 7 came out this morning and said that their Ultimates line and then the Club Grayskull Wave 3 are on the boat right now. They're looking to receive at any time, and then those will ship out in February. Also in February, if you're not a fan of the Filmation stuff, and you've been waiting because there has been a lot of Filmation stuff, I'm happy about it. Not everybody's happy about that. If you're more of a classics collector, Super 7 has also said that at Toy Fair they will show the next wave of classics. It should be worth your wait. So Toy Fair is... When is Toy Fair? I should probably know that because I need to book some plane tickets. That's early, mid-February. We'll see those, and then the new classic stuff will be available for pre-order in March. Okay, here comes a lot of list stuff, a lot of reading, because I can't keep track of all this in my head. There's actually two conflicting lists from the same source. Paul Mart Store, where I got my Lobo Wave, and apparently they have some kind of connection with Mattel because they seem to get a lot of the multiverse stuff early. Last week at some point he put up a list of upcoming multiverse waves from Mattel, and then a couple of days later he posted them on his site, and the two are kind of conflicting from what he said to what's actually solicited. First, he said the Joker from Batman Ninja Wave, I think he said that was the Collect and Connect, but in that wave you also get Starfire, Nightwing, John Stewart, Ninja Batman, Wally West, and Black Canary. Now that's what it was originally said in a Facebook post. What he actually solicited was, well, most of those figures, but the CNC is now the Ninja Batman. And along with that, he's listed Black Lightning and Beast Boy. No Black Canary. And that has a supposed release date of April. At least that's what he lists it on his site as. In the Facebook post for the Shazam movie wave, he listed Shazam, Wizard, Savannah, and then Hawkgirl and Flashpoint Aquaman from the comics. But when it was solicited on the site, it only lists Shazam and Savannah. So we'll have to wait and see for that wave. It does list it as a, well, he listed it as a Build-A-Figure. There will be a Collect and Connect. And then going back to Facebook, he calls it the Batman Anniversary Wave, which consists of First Appearance Batman, Dick Grayson Batman, Red Robin, Red Hood, and Ninja Catwoman. But when solicited on the site, it lists a Killer Croc CNC, which, ooh, yeah, gimme. But it takes away the First Appearance Batman and the Ninja Catwoman and adds in Katana, Alfred, and the Beast, whatever the Beast may be. KG Beast, maybe? Ooh. He lists the Shazam Wave as March, and then that Killer Croc wave as June. Take all that with a grain of salt. It's rumor, it may not happen. Well, okay, at least wait another month before getting too excited, and when Mattel has their showing at Toy Fair, which will be Very, very, very interesting. Mattel also sent out a press release this week. Veebs should be getting a production sample of the Walgreens exclusive Bizarro. So he'll have a look at that on the front page next week or whenever it does come in. And then the press release does say that Bizarro should drop at Walgreens February 20th. That's awfully specific. We know that it could be before, it could be after. Well, stranger things have happened. Maybe it will drop on that one day. Who knows? Speaking of press releases, Hasbro sent out emails last week saying that the Marvel Legends vehicles Professor X with Hoverchair and Scooter Deadpool were going up for pre-order that day. And they did, and that was cool. And then it hit Canada stores just wham right then. So it's another case of the X-Men wave where Canada seems to have gotten a very, very early shipment. You know, Canada in general, the whole just dropping Marvel Legends on them. And thanks to my buddy Troy Zaff on Instagram, he sent a lot of pictures. If you want to go check out the review on the front page, that's there. But man, I'm jealous. I want some Professor X and Hoverchair. And hell, you know me, I want some Deadpool too. I'll take some Dogpool, some Squirrelpool, that Scooter, the Bob head, and I'm going to have to track down another Kingpin body so I can put that Shadow King head on it, because that looks way better than I thought. And I saw it in person. Wait, did they have it at San Diego? No, they had it at New York Comic Con. So I didn't see it in person. Seeing these cool pictures of it now, though. Ooh. Also in that same email, they announced that this year, well, they didn't announce it. They stated, because they can't really announce it, hey, surprise, it's the 80th anniversary of Marvel. That was going to happen anyway, whether Hasbro announced it or not. So hopefully we can kind of see a Marvel Legends offshoot line for 80th anniversary, maybe, like we saw with Studio 10 last year. I don't know. Can we get a bunch of classic stuff? Can we get that classic Thor and Hulk that we so desperately need? A good Cap, just everybody. And I'm not classic only type collector. I also like modern stuff, but yeah, I need to fill some holes. Over here and over here. Also solicited this last week was the Hasbro Star Wars Black Series General Grievous. Announced last year, we saw promo pictures back then, it was looking great, but there's something about these new promotional shots that, I don't know, is it the weathering? Is it the sculpt? Is it the stance? It feels a little bit more natural. The actual figure itself, I feel like is looking a little bit better. And hell, it may be the same thing. It may be a different color background. It may be nothing. But to me, maybe it's the, oh, it's right around the corner, I may have this very, very soon. Maybe it's that. I don't know. I just like the look of it. One thing you can see definitely different about the two pictures is the cape. Now, in the original shots, it was darker. It was made of a material that seemed a little bit better looking at this scale. And then the big thing was it was tucked under the metal collar, so it wasn't so blatantly, oh, taking the cape off. In the new pictures, it looks exactly like that. Like it has a Velcro tab on the front. The material looks like it was made out of sock, out of scale, at this scale. And then it is way, way lighter. Not to mention, it looks fuzzier. The original was a little bit shiny. I think whenever I get this, my first thought will be to try to stuff that cape under that collar and see what can be done there. But Mom, I want a name brand cape. You'll wear what your grandmother made you and you'll like it. They've also said that his arms, in all the promotional pictures they've been shown as forearms, they do snap together to form two-arm Grievous, but we haven't seen that yet. Another thing that should be interesting to see once we get it in hand. It's $30 on Dorkside Toys right now, and it should ship in March. See, it's right there. It's so close. And then not actually a toy company, but apparently Jazz Inc. Dioramas has been making diorama pieces for Hot Toys for a while. Now, I don't know about these guys. I don't know a lot about Hot Toys. When it comes to Hot Toys, I'm just outside the window like, please, sir, may I look at your Hot Toys? And they're shooing me away from their storefront. Get out of here, kid. Kid. That's no. But apparently they've been bugged forever about making 1/12 scale diorama stuff, and finally they've buckled. They've said, okay, give this a shot. And their first entry into 1/12 scale would be the Tantive 4 blockade runner hallway corridor thing. It's the white walls, it's the floor, it's the door, it's, you know, where the rebel troopers made their stand against stormtroopers, and it didn't go too well. And at first I thought, oh, this is vacuum formed, it's some kind of plastic, it's molded or something, but I guess, from what they say on the site, it is CNC cut. It is bent and painted aluminum with some Perspex and 4X. Now, I don't know what that is. As far as I know, they could be Cantina aliens, but I know some bending aluminum. I did that for 20 years, and That, on top of it being Star Wars, I think is the most interesting to me. I want to find out what it's like. They're offering a long version at a foot long and then a short version at 9 1/4. So you have two different options there. But, and here's the kicker, the long version is $200 and the short version is $169. I know. Ooh, it hurts, but it looks so fantastic. From what I understand, they are, basing this on how much interest there is, how many pre-orders they get, whether they're going to go on with the scale or, what's going to happen there. But as far as the plan is right now, the Tantive 4 should ship in April. And looking around the rest of the site, they list everything else as 1/6, but scaled down to kind of fit into a detolf. So I'm looking at some of the other dioramas. They have Hot Toys standing on them, doing some visual math, where it looks like, oh, a 6-inch figure should come up to his crotch. Some of the other dioramas kind of look like they would fit into 1/12 scale. I don't know if I want to take that risk with that much money. I may just do the Tantive 4 and see what happens. And that's it. 2 weeks of catching up, looking at some toys, pre-ordering some toys, hoping for some toys. Toy Fair's right around the corner. Like I said, I need to book have I booked the flight? I'm not sure. Either way, I'm going to be in New York. There'll be some weeklies before that, but after that kicks off con season. It'll be, I'll be in Branson, and then Star Wars Celebration, and Salt Lake City. Denver's a little bit later than that. A lot of conventions, so yeah. But until then, if you like this weekly, comment, like, subscribe. I'll catch you on the Fwoosh.